Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Allison and I'm so sick. So right now it is January 31st and I made this big list of things that I wanted to wrap up before the new year. Fate would have it otherwise and I have the flu. The flu. And there's a lot of things on my list that are just not going to be happening right now because I do not have the energy. I've been watching a lot of movies and feeling like my hands are lamenting the fact that they're not doing something. So I figured during this time, as I convalesce, as I heal from the flu, I'm going to do a few mending projects on some clothing things and stuff around the house that I've been meaning to get to for a while. Let's get to it. Enough sicky talking person. This project I actually finished a day before or 2 days before I recorded the prelude here. It was just before I got sick. But I figured I should put it in this video because it's on topic. Anyways, if you've been around my channel for a while, you've seen this vest before. And it's a quilted vest using scraps of fabric from old projects and fabric that was my grandparents and cyanotype test prints and all kinds of things. This vest has been sitting around for almost a year, not quite finished, so I thought, okay, it is time to finish this. It always seems that it's around the holidays that I get to my sewing projects. I made the tabs on the front using some leftover bias tape and put an interfacing inside so they're a little bit stronger. I was very happy I was able to find 4 matching buttons within my stash. I ended up putting the buttons a little bit cockeyed because the vest doesn't have a lot of wiggle room and I wanted it to be a bit more roomy. So that's why they're sitting over the edge. I use this basket for bringing linens back and forth between the house and the sauna, and it's been slowly falling apart. I've been losing bits of the grass, the weaved stuff, for a while now, the straw, and I don't want to throw it out because it's still a good functional basket, so I figured I could give it a little bit of a makeover. I wrap the edges of the basket with this yarn, knotting it pretty frequently and just pulling together all of those loose ends and making sure that they are nice and tight and contained. Unfortunately, I didn't do a lot of filming of this project because I was feeling so terrible, but you can see how it turned out here. This handkerchief was my grandpa's, and unfortunately it is kind of falling apart, and I was really debating whether or not it was even worth fixing it. But I was listening to some really good podcasts and needed something to do with my hands, so I decided to mend quite a few of the spots on this handkerchief. So for the repairs on this hanky, I put a patch on the side and stitched it on using a running stitch. In the middle of it, I put on another patch, and then I did some visible mending, a weave pattern to reinforce an area that was getting pretty threadbare. I used colors that were already in the hanky, and I think it looks pretty cute. And then in the middle, I put a patch on using a running stitch and then whip stitched the center area, so hopefully it'll last a little longer. This wool jacket was my grandma's Navy uniform from the 1950s, and she gifted it to me many years ago now. and the lining in the sleeve had come apart and I'd put my arm through it quite a few times. I'm going to stitch this lining back together. I started by pinning the lining back in place, and it was easy to match it up because there was existing wrinkles and divots and thread marks or needle holes, so I was able to put that all back together really well. And then I took the existing threads that were there and had come undone, and I was able to tie in my new threads into the existing ones so that it wouldn't unravel anymore. I stitched the lining back in using a whip stitch and the occasional back stitch to make sure that it was good and secure. I think that this was one of the buttons off the coat originally, because it says Canada and there's a anchor on it, like a navy symbol thing, I guess. Wow, my brain. This button is made in Montreal. Unfortunately, I only have one, so because it's double-breasted, 2 buttons go in the front, 4 buttons go in the front, so they need to totally match. So I couldn't just get away with doing 2 kind of similar, kind of different buttons. When I was going through the buttons, I pulled out these are all the like real shell buttons that were in my collection. I've been really wanting to change out some buttons on a dress of mine and put in shell buttons like these because I think they're so lovely. But anyways, I haven't been able to find any just yet. But I think that I'm going to take this here button, this sweater I have, that I have done visible mending on the elbows of because they were getting pretty threadbare. It has a cracked button down here. So I'm going to put this on. It's a little bit bigger, but it does fit through the hole. It also has a replace button at the top here. This is a thrifted sweater cardigan. And I've had it for quite a while and I still really like it. It's held up really well. I'll just sew on this button right now. Thank you for making it to this point in the video. This will be my first video of 2014, and it's not even studio art related, so a little different for what I typically am making. My hope for this channel is that I can post things about other things that I'm excited about other than art making. If you liked what you saw, please check out my other videos. I'm in the midst of filming the next one right now, which will be studio based. I hope to see you there. Beautiful sweater with a new button, here it is, yeah, 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 yeah.